Hi, Alex here, and welcome to yet another section of our course entitled Tips for Optional Unwrapping and Coalescing. And in this first video, I'm going to talk about guard-let versus if-let statements. So let's jump right into the code and take a look at what we have here as a starter project. Now we have our username declared as optional strings and my password. And I have added a username as Alex and a password of 123123. Now, what I want to do is actually create a function that logs in my user. But first of all, I want to check if these usernames and password actually exist in the text field. So I would go something like this, and I will show you the ugly code first, of course. So let's create a function, and let's say ugly login. Okay, pretty simple. Now I would check with an if-let statement. If let my username equals and my username, because this is an optional, that is how I am going to unwrap it. And then I will just simply print out my username. And again, this my username is the one that I have unwrapped. Okay, let's run this code and see what actually happens. And nothing really happens. It just simply prints out. Let me just call upon our ugly login. Let's run that again, and we will see that inside our log we have Alex. Okay, now we have our username. What I want to get, and let me just comment this out and run this again so you may see why this optional thing is really important. If I run now, nothing really happens. The code doesn't even crash. That is okay. So if we don't have a username or a password, then nothing really happens. We can go through our code without a crash. So let me just comment that back in. And what I want to have here is create another if-let statement with my password. Okay, my password. And as you can see, it's kind of getting cumbersome. So let's print now out, let's say, my username. Oh, we want to add these braces here. My username and my password. Of course, you don't want to print out or use your password in such a manner, but that will be okay. Most probably you will send it onto a server or something. And there we go, Alex123123. Now this is kind of long. So let us just create our pretty code here. And I will name this func pretty login. Okay, and this time around I will use a guard-let statement. So guard-let my username equals my username, else let's return. Let's not go through with our code. And let me just copy this out and paste it in there. And I will just make this small n here. Okay, now one last thing, let me just comment this out so we don't have any code from there. One last thing is to call upon this pretty login. Okay, as you can see, we have our print statement executed, but we have our optional value of my password. Okay, now what we want to do is add here let, and I just simply copy this out, my password equals my password, and now let us just run and get this Alex123123. And it is a much simpler way, and I bet that most of you didn't really know that you could add multiple let statements in the guard-let unwrapping, like username and my password with a comment. Now that is it for this video.